Bickley Marotta mornings here on Arizona Sports. Dan Bickley, Vince Marotta, Sarah Cazell, Jerry Carlin taking you to his hand. Bick just told you in the previous segment it's very important to him that the Cardinals beat the Jets.
Yes.
Because he doesn't want Aaron Rodgers to experience joy. But another thing that is very important to you, and you've been on record for this for a long time.
Years.
You're a statue guy.
I am a statue guy, Vinny, and I've been saying for the longest time that we really need as a sports town to kind of really put our heroes literally in the cement, in the ground, because I think statues are and maybe I'm alone in this, but I've always loved statue parks. I just think they're the ultimate way to honor someone for their achievements in a way that also makes it enjoyable for fans. It creates a real visual legacy, if you will. And we don't have a lot of that here. And it's bothered me for many, many years because we have tons of really good candidates. You go to other cities, you find statues all over the place. There's a statue of Rocky in Philadelphia, of the Fonz in Milwaukee.
Totally
Nick
deserved.
Saban's got a couple of them. Yes, definitely. Henry Winkler. Absolutely. You go outside the Staples Center in Los Angeles, they've got everything from hockey players to announcers to boxers to basketball players. People rally around these things, gather around these things, take selfies. You go to St. Louis outside the Cardinals Stadium. There's a statue park there. People love this stuff, and I think we need it. And we do have no shortage of candidates. So I've been saying for years that it's got to start with Jerry Colangelo, the guy who more than anybody turned this city into what it is. It's a no-brainer. You're looking like you're just dying to say something.
There is one statue. There's Pat Tillman statue.
I know that.
Two different versions.
There's but there's none in downtown Phoenix.
Yeah, not easily accessible.
Yeah, the Pat Tillman's inside the stadium at ASU and in Glendale as well. I'm talking about in downtown Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay, so I have always been advocating for this, and lo and behold, local businessman Jimmy Walker, who ran Celebrity Fight Night for the longest time, he had put together a consortium of very, very important people, from Michael Jordan to Coach K to Greg Popovich, Danny Ainge, the list goes on and on and on. They all threw down money for a statue of Jerry Colangelo. They put in $20,000 a piece. Thing cost $300,000. So it turns out the thing is done. And it looks really, really good. And if you want a bit, and so I wrote about this last week, if you want to go back and find it and take a look at the pictures, you saw the picture of the finished product, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It looks really good.
Yes.
When you say so. That statue is done by the exact same guy who did the Dwayne Wade statue yes, nobody knows that. But the guy who did the Dwayne Wade statue, that's his only miss. He knocked it out of the park with a Jordan statue, knocked it out of the park with a Kobe statue, and he's knocked it out of the park with this Jerry Colangelo statue. Jerry's holding a basketball in one hand, a baseball bat in the other, and okay, so the statue's done. So Jimmy had tried to get Robert Sarver to kind of go along with him for a while. Robert wanted no part of it for obvious reasons, and so he went to the Suns, and this is a much different Suns regime. They're like, absolutely, we'll work with you, but we can't do the statue park, the one that I'm always advocating for, because then you could have Colangelo, you could have Al McCoy, Diana Taurasi, all of them. They've got renovation plans for the year, which shouldn't surprise you if you know what Matt Ishbia has done with Club 15 and all that stuff. Okay, so they work with Jimmy and they found this great location right on the corner of Jefferson Street and 3rd. It's the old convention center at the top of the steps, and the statue would face Chase Field to the left, Footprint Center to the right. So Jimmy sent a letter to the mayor about this and has gotten no response. Now, Mayor Gallego just won re-election in very convincing fashion, so clearly she's been busy. But at this point in time, I would really like this to become a priority for our city leaders and not get lost up in the politics that, okay, Jerry's a Republican and the mayor's a Democrat, or the Diamondbacks don't want to honor Jerry because Ken Kendrick and Jerry once feuded. Or you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's petty. And as a sports town, we need to be better than that.
Well,
and the reason why it's really important to me, Vinny, because you know how I feel about honoring people posthumously. Now, Jerry's still in very good health.
Yes.
But he's going to be 85 in November. We've just lost Walter Davis. We've lost Al McCoy. Get this done.
You wrote about it in your column on Arizona Sports on this subject about, I guess it was a little over a year ago. Or maybe it was 2 years. I don't know. I've lost track of time.
I wrote about this 8 years ago. I wrote about it 4 years ago.
What I'm talking about, though, is the
Yeah.
quote from Jerry Colangelo himself from the luncheon that we had the privilege of emceeing. And the thing, it was an unbelievable honor for me, and I'm sure it was for you, to be part of that. But the thing that stood with me and still stands with me was when Jerry spoke at the end. And there was, elements of a roast going on. It was great storytelling. But Jerry addressed the crowd at the end. And he talked about his own mortality and realizing how many years he has left.
Right.
That's what stood out to me. And I feel exactly the same way you do about posthumous honoring of people. It's better than nothing,
right?
But it's far from ideal.
Yes. It's often something that's done out of shame, like, oh man, we should have done this before, but let's do it now so we can clear our conscience.
Yes.
The Suns play a game on Jerry's 85th birthday. It's November 20th. It's a great date. I know that's the date that Jimmy is pushing to get this done. I don't know if time-wise it's feasible, but this is Jerry Colangelo we're talking about. This should not be a political debate. This should not be even a debate of any kind at all. So sports fans, contact city leaders, push to make this happen.
Well, and I know, again, you're on top of this, and you've got information that other people don't have on this, and I hadn't heard that location. But if that doesn't happen for whatever reason, that location at 3rd and Jefferson that you're talking about, the statue is done.
Statue is done.
What happens to it?
Well, that's a great question.
Does it become like a mobile? Do they just move it around?
I got it. I bet you if all else fails, they wouldn't mind in Miami replacing his Dwayne Wade statue with the Jerry Colangelo.
With the Jerry Colangelo
even though it has nothing to do with Miami.
Look, and I know the Dwayne Wade statue has been talked about a lot. But to your original point on this, I'm not going to sit here and say Dwayne Wade does not deserve a statue for what he contributed to the Miami Heat and that sports city. You could fit that, that's a thimble worth of importance to what Jerry Colangelo has done for this city.
Thank you. And that's what's getting lost here. What's getting lost here is who this man is and what he built in downtown Phoenix. And part of what pushed me over the top about this is we all love Jimmy Eat World and Zach Lynn, the drummer. He's a good friend of the show. The mayor went out of her way to go honor that band at the Van Buren, proclaiming it Jimmy Eat World Day, which I'm perfectly fine with. But she was quoted as saying they built this city. And I thought, okay, this is too much.
Well, think about
rock and roll, did she?
Think of how many things are named after Barry Goldwater and John McCain and stuff like that. Jerry Colangelo, it not politically, but is a big part of what built the city of Phoenix.
Yes, I used to say, if not for Jerry Colangelo, Phoenix would be Tucson.
Yes, I think you're right about that, and people have lost sight of that. And that's a shame. So let's get a happy ending to this story. Sports fans, get a hold of city leaders. Tell them what you think.
Yeah, because Bick's tired of housing this statue at his place.
And then tell him to shut up, Jarrett.
There's no room in his bed anymore.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.